Beneath our feet, hidden in the cracks of the earth, thrives a world of tiny architects, engineers, and soldiers. A world so perfectly organized, so divinely designed, that even the greatest human minds are left in awe. This is the world of ants, a creature so small, yet so significant, that Allah chose to immortalize it in the Quran. What you are about to discover is not just a story, it's a revelation. A revelation that bridges the gap between faith and science, between the seen and the unseen, and between the Creator and His creation. What Allah revealed about ants will challenge everything you thought you knew about these tiny beings. Let's begin with the Quran itself. In Surah 27, An-Naml, the chapter named The Ant, Allah shares a moment in the life of Prophet Solomon, a prophet granted miraculous powers, including the ability to understand the language of animals. One day, as Solomon and his massive army marched across the land, they approached a valley teeming with ants. The Quran captures a breathtaking conversation. An ant, aware of Solomon's approaching army, cries out to its colony, "Oh, ants! Enter your homes, lest Solomon and his soldiers crush you unknowingly." This verse is more than a historical footnote. It's a masterclass in Allah's wisdom. Think deeply. How did an ant recognize Solomon as a prophet? How did it understand the danger of an approaching army? And why would Allah choose to highlight this moment in the Quran? The answers lie in the perfection of Allah's creation. Ants, as we now know through science, possess a level of intelligence and social organization that rivals human civilizations. They build cities, farm crops, wage wars, and even enslave other ants, all behaviors documented in modern entomology. Yet, the Quran hinted at this complexity 1,400 years ago. Consider the ant's warning to its colony. Ants communicate through chemicals called pheromones, a fact discovered only in the 20th century. But the Quran, in Surah An-Naml, revealed that ants speak long before microscopes or laboratories existed. When the ant in the Quran shouts a warning, it's not just a metaphor, it's a glimpse into a sophisticated communication system Allah designed. These creatures don't just react instinctively, they think, plan, and collaborate. Scientists now know that ant colonies operate as superorganisms, where every ant acts like a single cell in a larger body. The Quran's description of ants as a unified community working in harmony mirrors this discovery. But the miracles don't end there. Prophet Solomon's response to the ant is equally profound. The Quran says he smiled at the ant's words. This smile carries oceans of meaning. Solomon, a king with dominion over men, jinn, and the winds, didn't dismiss the ant as insignificant. Instead, he marveled at Allah's creation. He recognized that greatness isn't measured by size or power, but by submission to Allah. In that smile, we learn a timeless lesson: humility. No matter how high we rise, we are all equals in the eyes of Allah. A human prophet and a tiny ant share the same creator. Let's dive deeper into the ant's world. A single colony can contain millions of ants, each with a specialized role. Worker ants dig tunnels, nurse the young, and scavenge for food. Soldier ants defend the colony with jaws stronger than their body weight. The queen, the heart of the colony, lays thousands of eggs to ensure survival. This division of labor is so precise that biologists compare ant colonies to human cities. But here's the shocker. The Quran hints at this structure. When the ant warns its people to enter your homes, it implies a society with shared dwellings, roles, and a chain of command, a concept science confirmed millennia later. Now, let's talk about survival. Ants are survival experts. They store food, build climate-controlled nests, and even cultivate fungi for sustenance. Some species farm aphids, protecting them in exchange for a sugary secretion. This level of agricultural planning was thought to be uniquely human, until science revealed ants have been doing it for millions of years. The Quran, in Surah Al-Hashr, says, "There is no creature on earth except that Allah provides for it." Ants embody this truth. They don't hoard greedily, they gather only what they need, trusting Allah's provision. This is a direct challenge to our materialistic world. If a tiny ant can rely on Allah, why do humans, with our intellect and faith, so often falter? The Quran also uses ants to teach us about consequences. In Surah Al-Qasas, Allah warns, "Those who arrogantly act in the land will be led to my punishment." Ants, despite their strength in numbers, never act arrogantly. They work silently, fulfill their purpose, and avoid conflict unless necessary. Contrast this with humans. Wars over borders, exploitation of resources, and destruction of ecosystems. Ants, in their simplicity, follow divine law better than many of us. But perhaps the most shocking revelation is this. Ants possess a form of collective intelligence. When faced with obstacles, they problem solve as a group. Scientists have observed ants building living bridges with their bodies to cross gaps, demonstrating teamwork and sacrifice. The Quranic story of the ant's warning mirrors this collective spirit. The ant didn't flee alone, it alerted its entire community. This is a direct call to Muslims. Unity is survival. Just as ants thrive through cooperation, the Ummah can only rise when it stands together. Now, let's connect this to Judgment Day. The Quran says every creature, including ants, will testify against humans for their sins. Imagine that day, an ant whose colony you destroyed carelessly, standing as a witness before Allah. This isn't poetry, it's a chilling reminder. Every life matters to Allah, even those we crush underfoot. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, once rebuked a companion who burned an anthill, saying, "Only the Lord of the fire has the right to punish with fire." Respect for life, no matter how small, is woven into Islam's fabric. What about the ants' role in ecology? Allah designed them as caretakers of the earth. Ants aerate soil, recycle nutrients, and control pests. Without ants, ecosystems would collapse. In Surah Ar-Rahman, Allah asks, "Which of the favors of your Lord will you deny?" The ant is one of those favors. Yet, humans dismiss them as pests. This ingratitude is a spiritual disease. The Quran's message is clear. Every creature has a purpose, and dismissing even an ant is dismissing Allah's wisdom. In closing, let's return to Prophet Solomon. After hearing the ant's warning, he prayed, "My Lord, inspire me to be grateful for your favors." This prayer is the heart of the story. Gratitude turns knowledge into wisdom. Solomon didn't just see an ant, he saw a sign of Allah. Today, science confirms what the Quran always knew. Ants are marvels of creation. But unless we open our hearts, these marvels remain hidden. So the next time you see an ant, pause. Remember the valley in Surah An-Naml. Remember the warning, the smile, and the prayer. Ask yourself, do I see Allah's signs in the smallest of His creations? Do I live with the humility of an ant or the arrogance of Pharaoh? The choice is yours. But know this, the Quran's story of ants isn't just about insects, it's about us. It's a mirror held up to humanity, reflecting our flaws, our potential, and our ultimate purpose, to submit to the one who created all things, great and small. Allah's signs are everywhere. The question is, are we willing to look?